We are back on Inside Politics. Our guest today is columnist and journalist Keel Hunt. Keel, right now it appears after the election, after the conventions are over, that Joe Biden continues to have a pretty decent lead, 5 or 6 points, maybe a little bit higher. He's getting closer in some of the battleground states. But when you look at the betting odds on 538, they're even Steven. Do the smart boys and smart girls know more about this than perhaps the pollsters do?
No, they don't. No, they don't. And I think what counts, of course, is how people cast their votes, and then we'll see. What I think is something to watch for is and I wrote a column about this the other day, it's the idea of what we call the October surprise. And I think it kind of cuts both ways. An incumbent president, President Trump, in this case, has a number of advantages, and one is he can announce anything he wants to. My suspicion is that the October surprise this time around may have to do with the elusive coronavirus vaccine. There may be more than one. It may be announced before November 3rd. It may be a vaccine that helps a lot of people or a few people, but I think that would be a kind of a shock to the system that would politically play to President Trump's advantage, and there's nothing in the world that Joe Biden can do about that.
There does appear to be some concern in the polling that the public now begins to believe that even the vaccine process has been rushed and perhaps even politicized. Won't that make a vaccine less effective only because people won't take the vaccine if they don't trust it?
Well, I can quickly get out of my realm of expertise when you talk about vaccines, of course. But I think that there are many. What I've observed from all the reading I try to do about this, there are a lot of variables. I mean, what will the particular vaccine do? Will there be a number of vaccines that do different things? Will each of them be effective? And I think the ongoing, furor over, even wearing masks and things that seem so sensible, is creating suspicion and doubts. And that's so, we need to have a national mobilization, and I haven't seen that yet.
On election night, we may see one set of numbers come in because it appears that the Trump voter is more likely to vote on election day or early, while the Biden voter may vote by absentee and with the ballots coming in later. Are we going to get into a Bush-Gore situation with one side claiming victory based on what happened election night, and those numbers start to change a little bit as we go on past election day?
I think so. I think that's a very good question, and in fact, more to the point, I think it's a good way in which to prepare our own expectations, whoever you're for. I mean, we're very unlikely to see, unless there's a huge landslide that is toted up on the evening of November 3rd. We're more likely, I think, to see, a period of maybe several weeks. Where, particularly in light of doubts about the capability of the U.S. Postal Service and worries about that, I think we're likely to see a period of weeks, not one night, which used to be the norm. You like to stay up late and see who won, but I don't think we're going to see that. And in fact, there may be more of a tilt that produces an election night outcome that favors President Trump. I mean, as you suggest, Biden voters may be more, for fear of virus or whatever reason, to vote, by mail, and it'll take a while for those to get in and to be counted. And so I think we need to kind of hold our fire in terms of projecting winners.
Lots of
this year of all.
Lots of concern about wrong information. That's not unusual in political races, but now coming not from the parties, but also coming from foreign countries, from Russia, China, maybe now even Iran. What advice could you give to people out there about when they see stuff on social media about whether they do it? When you and I were reporters, we were often told by our editors, if your mother says she loves you, check it out.
That's right. Yeah, always check it out. Pat, I may be getting a little off that question, but I keep continue to believe that what we need more of in our country is education about how news media work. A good course in how to read the newspaper and how to understand broadcast news, would be in order. Because back to your question, I think there's so many sources of information, and they're not all equal, as you well know. And the hard reporting that challenges statements and facts is what is the most important. That's the way our system has always worked.
Okay, let's take a break. Keel Hunt's our guest. He's a columnist and blogger with Tennessean. Back to continue our conversation after this break.